Bugungi darsimizda Cambridge 15-kitobining 4-testi va 3-reading passagini ko'rib chiqamiz va bu passagening ismi Environmental Practices of Big Businesses. Demak, bu qismda yirik bizneslarning environmental, ya'ni atrof muhit bo'yicha practice, ya'ni harakatlari degan ma'noni anglatgan passage, ya'ni tekstni ko'rib chiqarganmiz va bu qismda birinchi navbatda o'zingiz bilganingizdek savollarni birma-bir ko'rib chiqishimiz kerak bo'ladi va bu qismda bizga summary completion berilgan 20 dan 31gacha bo'lgan savollar va asosan gaplar, mavzular, javoblar bitta paragrafga kelmaydi. Chunki bu 3-passage doim qiyin bo'ladi. 32-dan 34gacha have multiple choice questions, 3 ta multiple choice savollari, undan keyin esa bizga not given 2 ta multiple choice savollar bor ekan va keling endi shu sababli bu qismda multiple choice savollari bor, bu qismda filling information savollari bor va bu qismda yozilgan savollar bo'lganligi sababli butun tekstni o'qigan holda, hech bo'lmasa tekstning yarmini o'qigan holda, ikkiga bo'lib o'qigan holda javoblarni topishimiz kerak bo'ladi. Chunki bu savollarni individually approaching these questions will be hard. Demak, bu degani bu savollarga birma-bir individual tarzda yondashish qiyinchilikka olib keladi, chunki har bir savol turi uchun ham turli xildagi strategiyalarni ishlatgan holda, turli xildagi approach, ya'ni yo'nalishlarni tanlagan holda har bittasini bir martadan qaytadan o'qib chiqish bizga ko'p vaqtni sarflab qo'yishi mumkin. Shuning uchun ham birinchi navbatda agar sizda yaxshi xotira bo'ladigan bo'lsa, note taking skilllaringiz rivojlangan bo'lsa, birinchi navbatda tekstni o'qib chiqib, keyin savollarni ko'rish sizga manfaatliroq bo'lishi aniq. Shuning uchun ham bu qismda butun tekstni o'qib sizga qiyin qilmaymiz. Tekstning yarmini o'qiymiz, savollarga qarab chiqamiz, tekstning ikkinchi yarmini o'qiymiz, yana savollarga qarab chiqamiz. Xo'p, demak, bu qismda o'zingiz ko'rganingizdek, multiple choice savollarda birinchi navbatda savollarni ko'rgan holda keyin tekstga qarashimiz kerak edi va bu qismda o'zingiz ko'rganingizdek third passage, fourth passage va disease BCE haqida ma'lumot ketgan, 3, 4 va 5-paragraflar, menimcha BCE 5-paragraflar haqida ma'lumot ketgan va bu qismda esa big businesses umumiy jihatdan yirik bizneslar haqida kelib ketgan. Shuning uchun ham birinchi navbatda 4 ta paragraf o'qigan holda keyinchalik esa yana 3 ta paragrafni o'qishni men o'zimga strategiya qilib olaman. Keling birgalikda endi o'qib analiz qilishga harakat qilamiz. The environmental practices of big business are shaped by a fundamental fact that for many of us offends our sense of justice. Hope, depending on the circumstances, business may maximize the amount of money it makes, at least in short term, by damaging environment and hurting people. Still the case today for fishermen in a managed fishery without quotas, and for international logging companies with short-term leases on tropical rainforests, land in places with corrupt officials, unsophisticated landowners, short-term leases like unmanaged fishery, with government regulations. When government regulation is effective and when the public is environmentally aware, the environmentally clean big businesses may outcompete dirty ones. But the reverse is likely to be true if the government regulation is ineffective and if the public doesn't care. Demak, bu qismda asosan bizneslar tomonidan bu tabiatga zarar yetkazilishi, odamlarni hurt qilishi, ya'ni zarar yetkazilishi va buning misollari, masalan, baliq ovlash kompaniyalari yoki logging, ya'ni o'rmonchilik kompaniyalari tomonidan qilinayotgan ishlar qanaqa vaziyatda ularni effektiv bo'lishi yoki effektiv bo'lmasligi haqida ma'lumotlar berilgan. Buni yozib qo'yishingiz mumkin. Bu qismda men yozmayman, chunki men esimda qolishi aniq bu. O'zingiz yozib qo'ying shunaqa keywordlarni yoki unaqa summaryni, chunki esingizda qolmasligi mumkin. Birinchi paragrafda nima haqida edi deb o'ylab o'tirishingiz mumkin agar siz bu keywordlarni yozib qo'ymasangiz. Shuning uchun ham yozib qo'yishni maslahat beraman va keyingi qismga o'tamiz. It's easy for the rest of us to blame business for helping itself by hurting people. It's easy for us to rest of the blame for helping itself, but blaming anyone is unlikely to produce change. Don't blame. It ignores the fact that businesses are not charities but profit-making companies, but that publicly owned companies with shareholders are under obligation to those shareholders to maximize profits, provided that they do so by legal means. U.S. laws make a company directors legally liable for something termed breach of fiduciary responsibility if they knowingly manage a company in a way that reduces profit. Really? Legally liable? Interesting. The Kia manufacturer was in fact successfully sued by shareholders in 1990 for raising the minimum wage of his workers. What the hell? Many workers to per day. The court declares that while forced humanitarian sentiments about his employees were nice, its business existed to make a profit for its stockholders. Demak, o'zingiz ko'rganingizdek, bu qismda bizneslarni nimaga ayblamasligimiz haqida ma'lumot keltirgan. O'zlaringiz ko'rganingizdek, bizneslarning maqsadi bu pul ketkazish, pulni maksimizatsiya, ya'ni kelayotgan kirimni, kelayotgan foydani maksimize qilish va o'zingiz ko'rganingizdek under legal means. Legal means, ya'ni qonuniy doirasi bo'lsa, qonun doirasi bo'lsa, hamma narsani qilish kerak bo'ladi, pulni maksimize qilish uchun. Va bu qismda o'zingiz ko'rganingizdek, US laws agar birorta kompaniya direktori bu maksimizatsiya, ya'ni foydani oshirishni o'ylamasa, ular responsibility, ya'ni javobgarlikka tortishi ham mumkin ekan. Mana bu qismda misol keltirishgan Henry Fordni javobgarlikka tortilganligi haqida juda ham qiziq informatsiya. Our blaming of business also ignores the ultimate responsibility of the public for creating the conditions that let a business profit through destructive environmental policy. In the long run, it is the public, either directly or through its politician, has the power to make such that destructive policies unprofitable and illegal to make sustainable policies are profitable. O'zingiz ko'rganingizdek, bu qismda 3-paragrafda hammamiz aybimiz, kimni aybdor? Bu qismda public aybdor, jamiyat aybdor va bu asosan jamiyatni responsibility javobgarligi sifatida keltirib o'tilgan. Shu ma'lumotlar detalli ravishda keltirib o'tilganligini ko'rishingiz mumkin va buni keyingi qismda the public can do that by suing businesses for harming them, as happened bu qismda disaster were spilled over the coast of Alaska. The public may also make their opinion felt by preferring to buy sustainability harvested products, making employees of companies with poor track records feel ashamed of their company and complain to their own management. Hope by preferring their governments to avoid valuable contractors with a good environmental track record, by pressing the government to pass and enforce laws and regulations requiring good environmental practice. O'zingiz ko'rganingizdek, bu qismda public, ya'ni jamiyat qanaqa ravishda bu harakatlarni oldini olishi va qanaqa ravishda environmental policylarni, ya'ni atrof muhitni qo'llab-quvvatlovchi kompaniyalar yoki qo'llab-quvvatlovchi qoidalarni tatbiq qilishi haqidagi ma'lumotlar berilgan ekan. Xo'p, demak, 4tasini o'qib bo'lganimizdan keyin hamma savollarga qarab chiqamiz va javoblarni topishga harakat qilamiz. Many big businesses today are prepared to harm people and the environment in order to make money, and they appear to have no what. Bu qismda ikkinchi paragrafda javoblarni ko'rgan edik. Unlike the product change, bu birinchi paragrafda edi. Xo'p, mana bu qismda by damaging environment and hurting people, they still in the case to the at least in short term, depending on the circumstances, they appear to have no business making maximum amount of money. Xo'p, demak bu qismda yana bir narsani adashib ketdim, o'zim ham adashib ketdim. Demak bu qismda summary completionda javoblar sinonim orqali topilmaydi, umumiy jihatdan ma'noni o'qigan holda topilishi kerak va men ham bu qismda sinonimlarni qidirib yuribman. Shuning uchun ham bu qism bu sinonimlarni qidirish fakti xato hisoblanadi. Shuning uchun ham summary completion qilayotganingizda va bu qismda sizga optionlar berilganda umuman sinonimlarni topishga harakat qilmasligingiz kerak. Umumiy jihatdan tekstni o'qib olgan holda va tekstni o'qiganingizdan so'ng tushungan narsangiz orqali, tushungan fikrlaringiz orqali logika jihatdan, mantiqiy jihatdan o'z javoblaringizni topishingiz kerak bo'ladi va bu qismda they have no what. Demak, bu qismda o'zingiz ko'rganingizdek, bizneslar odamlarga zarar yetkazishga va tabiatga zarar yetkazishga tayyor pul qilish uchun va ularda кажется tuyuladiki, ularda hech narsa yo'q. Xo'p, nima yo'q? No funding yo'q, moral standard degan javoblar logik jihatdan to'g'ri keladi, logika jihatdan to'g'ri keladi. Flooding yo'q, tree no, overfishing no. Demak, bu qismda o'zingiz ko'rganingizdek faqatgina bitta javob to'g'ri kelishini ko'rdik. Shuning uchun ham bu qismda no moral standard degan javobni olaman, chunki bu qismda umuman hamma faqatgina logika jihatdan o'qib olganimga qarab, o'qigan ma'lumotlarimga ko'ra faqatgina logika jihatdan, faqatgina moral standard degan javob to'g'ri bo'lganligi uchun moral standard degan javobni olaman. Lack of something by government and lack of public bu bor lekin can lead to environmental problems. Demak, bu qismda lack of regulations va lack of interest masalan bu qismda bor edi. Masalan, demak, Hope when government regulations is effective and public is environmental aware. Demak, bu qismda regulation yo'qligi и awareness yo'qligi. Demak, a lack of funding no, control. Demak, control, regulation degani qoidalarni qo'yilishi, bu control, ya'ni boshqaruv. Control by control bo'ladi and public awareness involvement bo'ladi bu qismda. Aralashuv. Public aralashsa, public bu haqida xabari bo'lsa, keyin bu holatda yaxshilanadi degan ma'noni anglatishgan. demak bu qismda environmental problems such as of destruction or the destruction of what. Demak bu qismda birinchi hamma o'z javoblarini ko'rganingizdak, hamma javoblarimiz you wanna sneeze? You wanna sneeze? Apchu. Bless you beforehand. Xo'p, o'zingiz ko'rganingizdek ketib qoldim. Okay. O'zingiz ko'rganingizdek, xo'p, hamma javoblarimizda o'zingiz ko'rganingizdek bu qismda hamma savollarga javoblar birinchi paragrafda keldi va lekin shunga qaramasdan birinchi paragrafni o'qib tushunmasdan turib bu savollarga javoblar topish umuman iloji yo'qligi sababli birinchi navbatda asosan 3-passajda faqatgina tekstni o'qib keyin savollarni qarash orqali to'g'ri ma'lumotlarni topish mumkin. Agar siz savollarni o'qib keyin javoblarni passajdan keywordlar orqali topaman desangiz, bu losing strategy, ya'ni bu yutqazasiz. Ko'pincha vaziyatlarda shuning uchun ham 3-passajga borganingizda birinchi passajda o'qib olib, tushunib olib, keyin savollarga qaraganingiz yaxshi. Shuning uchun ham mana bu qismga ko'ramiz. Bu qismda phishing haqida gapirgan menimcha. Environmental problems such as what? Hurting people, fishermen for logging companies, short-term tropical rainforests and such as mana phishing bor edi menimcha. Mana phishing bor edi. Ana bor edi. Logging companies, tropical rainforest bor edi. Yo'q qolish. Destruction of forest bo'ladi endi bu qismda. Destruction of trees bo'ladi mana forest. Overfishing, mana overfishing turibdi bilan H bilan B javob bo'ldi demak. Such as overfishing H, destruction of trees bu B bo'ladi javobimiz. Demak shu bilan o'zingiz ko'rganingizdek hamma savollarni masalan o'qib keywordlarni topishga harakat qilsangiz ham baribir agar tekstni o'qib tushunmagan bo'lsangiz baribir xato qilaverasiz. Shuning uchun ham birinchi tekstni o'qib olgan yaxshi shu. Demak bu qismda 3-4-5-paragraflarda javoblar bor. Biz 3-4-paragrafni o'qidik. Demak 32-33 ga savollarga javoblarni topishimiz mumkin, topishga harakat qilamiz va o'zingiz ko'rganingizdek, demak bu qismda 3-paragrafda biza public responsibility deganda, 4-paragrafda esa public responsibilitydagi BCE hop uni misollarni keltirgan edi. Main idea of the third paragraph is that environmental damage requires political action. No information? What are they talking about? No, umuman ma'lumot yo'q. Unaqa environmental damage requires, ya'ni tabiatga zarar yetkazish politik harakatlarni talab qiladi. Umuman tushunarsiz logika jihatdan to'g'ri kelmaydi. Is the result of ignorance. Mana bu to'g'ri bo'ladi. Environmental damage is the result of ignorance on the part of public. Demak, masalan, qarang, ignores the ultimate responsibility for the public for creating condition. Demak, bu qismda o'zimizni, bizani, jamiyatni, public, xalqni ignore, ya'ni e'tibor bermaganligi sababli environmental muammolar paydo bo'lganligi haqida gapirib ketishgan. The writer describes the way in which public can nima qilish, oldini olish. Reduce their own individual impact? Nope. Learn more about impact? Nope. Raise awareness of the nope. Raise awareness? Nope. Influence the environmental policies, business and government? Correct. D correct bo'ladi, D to'g'ri javob bo'ladi. Chunki bu qismda hammasida bizneslarga yoki davlatga qanaqa qilib ta'sir o'tkazish, qanaqa qilib ularni manipulyatsiya qilish orqali o'sha environmental policylarni tatbiq qilinishini ta'minlash haqida ma'lumot berilgan. Demak, bu qismda 34-savolga javobim yo'q, 34-savolga javobni topib olaman. What pressure was exerted by business in case of the this is BCE. Xo'p, BCE vaziyatida qanaqa pressure, давление exert qilingan ekan, o'shani topamiz. In turn, business can exert powerful pressure on any suppliers that might ignore public and government pressure. Xo'p, for instance, after the US public became concerned about the spread of disease known as BCE, which was transmitted to humans through the infected meat, the US government put in introduced rules demanding that the meat industry abandon practice associated with the risk of disease spreading. But for meat packers refused to follow claiming that they would be too expensive to buy away, or a major fast food company then made the same demands after the customer purchase of its plummeted. The meat industry complied within weeks. Demak, o'zingiz ko'rganingizdek, bu qismda big bizneslar, katta bizneslar qanaqa yo'llar orqali bu environmental policylarni amalga oshirilishini yordam berishi haqida ma'lumot berilgan. O'zingiz ko'rganingizdek, the government organization, davlat tashkiloti go'sht shu producers, ya'ni ishlab chiqaruvchilardan shu ishni qilasan deb so'raganda, yo'q, qilmaymiz degan, uni go'sht sotib oladigan kompaniya shu ishni qilasan deganiga haftani ichida test qilgan. 5 yilda qilib bo'lmagan ishni 1 hafta 2 haftada test qilib olishgan. Shuning uchun ham demak bu qismda stop line hamburgers to fast food. Nope. Fast food company forced their meat. What? Maybe fast food company forced their meat suppliers to follow the law. Of course forces their meat suppliers to follow the law. Demak, javobimiz bu qismini o'zingiz ko'rganingizdak, fast food company, ya'ni fast food kompaniyasi o'zini go'sht supplier yetkazib beruvchilarni o'sha qoidaga amal qilishga majburlagan ekan. Persuade the government, unaqa haqida ma'lumot yo'q. Encourage government to introduce legislation, bu haqida ma'lumot yo'q. Umuman xato ma'lumot o'shuning uchun ham javob B bo'ladi. Keyingisiga o'tib ketamiz. Yes or no keyin savollari va 40-savol qolib ketdi, lekin charchadim. Keyingisiga o'tamiz. Birinchi tekstni o'qib olamiz, keyin javoblarni topishga harakat qilamiz. Some readers may be disappointed or outraged. Some readers may be outraged that I place the ultimate responsibility on for business practice harming the public on the public itself. I also believe the public must accept the necessity for higher price for product to cover the address cost. My views may seem to ignore the belief that the business should act in accordance with moral principles, even if it leads to reduction in their profit. Ignore belief. What the hell is this kind of belief? I think we have to recognize that throughout human history, in all politically complex human society, government regulation has arisen precisely because it was found that not only did moral principles need to be made explicit, but they need to be enforced. O'z ko'rganingizda bu qismda mana shunaqa blame qilishlari mumkin, xafa bo'lishlari mumkin mendan, lekin agar government regulation bo'lib, ularni qoidalarni tushuntirib bermasa, qoidalarni majburlab enforce qilmasa, bu qoidalar umuman qilinmaydi. Human historyda ko'rishimiz mumkin degan ma'lumotlarni berdi. To me, the conclusion that the public has the ultimate responsibility for behavior of even the biggest business is empowering and helpful. O'z ko'rganingizda bu ma'lumot, bu message, ya'ni bizning jamiyatning yoki xalqni responsibility bu bizani mas'uliyatimiz ekanligi empowering, ya'ni kuch beradigan va hopeful rather than disappointing. My conclusion is not a moralistic one, but who is right about who's right, who's wrong, and moral self, so good guy or bad guy. In the past, businesses have changed when the public came to expect and require different behavior. To reward business for behavior that the public wanted, to make things difficult for business practicing behavior the public didn't want. I predict that in the future, just as in the past, changes in political attitudes will be essential for changing business environment to practice. O'zingiz ko'rganingizda bu qismda public bizani mas'uliyatimiz, bu bizga imkoniyat beradi, empowering va hopeful. Agar biz xohlasak, o'sha o'zimizda purchasing behaviorlarimiz bilan bu strukturani o'zgartirib yuborishimiz mumkin degan ma'lumotlar berilgan ekan. Endi demak, birinchi navbatda best sub headingni topib olaman, keyin chunki men butun passageni tushundim, keyin yason savollarga o'taman. Was the world survive the threat caused by the businesses? Bu haqida ma'lumot yo'q. How big can calculate last driven by profit? No. Are caused by no. Are big businesses blame for the damage caused by the environment? Demak, bu qismda hop, environment atrof muhitga yetkazilgan zarar uchun yirik bizneslarni biz ayblashimiz kerakmi degan hisob qiladigan qo'ysak bo'ladi, chunki asosiy ma'lumot yo'q. Big bizneslar yomon bo'lishi mumkin, lekin asosiy mas'uliyat bizda, ya'ni xalqda ekanligi haqida ma'lumot berganligi sababli biz dini javob sifatida olishimiz kerak bo'ladi. Do it. Endi 35-39 gacha bo'lgan yasonatgan savollarga birma-bir qarab chiqishimiz va savollarning javoblarini topishimiz kerak bo'ladi. 35. The public should be prepared to fund good environmental practices. Of course. Bu yes, demak bu qismda o'zingiz ko'rganingizdak, in the past business have changed, demak bu qismda mana my conclusion is not a moralistic, ya'ni bu emas. Bu qismda bordi, oxiridan birinchi oldingi paragrafda bordi. I also believe that public must accept the necessity for higher prices. O'zingiz ko'rganingizdak, o'sha environmentga zarar yetkazilmaydigan vositalar ishlatilganligi uchun ham ortiqcha bo'lgan costlarni, o'sha ortiqcha bo'lgan to'lovni ular o'zlari qabul qilishi, o'shalarni fund qilishi, o'shalarni to'lashiga qabul qilishi kerak degan ma'noni berganligi sababli buni yes qilib olamiz. There is a bu qismda javob bor. Mana bu qismda javob borligini ko'rishingiz mumkin. There is a contrast between the moral principle of different businesses. Demak, bu qismda har xil bizneslarni, turlicha bizneslarni ya'ni moralniy prinsiplari haqida, kontrast borligi haqida umuman ma'lumot berilmagan. Shuning uchun ham not given olamiz. Chunki men moral o'rgatmoqchi emasman, balki praktikal nima qilish mumkinligini o'rgatishim kerak degan ma'noni anglatyapman. Mana bu qismda my views may seem to ignore the belief moral principles. U haqida umuman ma'lumotlar yo'q. Shuning uchun ham o'tib ketamiz not given deb. It's important to make a clear distinction between acceptable and unacceptable behavior. Of course. Bu qismda mana yozilgani, throughout human history in all politically complex human societies, government regulation has arisen precisely because it was found that not only did moral principle need to be explicit, but they also need to be enforced demak bo'lsunda o'zingiz ko'rganingizdek qadimiy jihatdan, qadimiy davrlardan agar biror bir murakkab jamiyatda yashayotgan bo'lsak, not only biza tushuntirib qo'yishimiz kerak, balki ularni majburlashimiz kerak degan ma'lumot borligi sababli acceptable kim qaysi ish qilib bo'ladi, qaysi ish qilish mumkin emasligi haqida clear distinction, ya'ni farqni ko'rsatib berishimiz kerak va bu muhimligi haqida ma'lumot berilganligi sababli buni yes deb olamiz. Hech kim tushunmasa kerak mana gapni. Xo'p, keyingisiga o'tamiz. Hech kim tushunmasa kerak, chunki tez gapiryapmanmi, bilmayman, tez gapiryapman deyishadi odamlar, lekin tez emas bu. Okay, next one. The public have successfully influenced businesses in the past. Public have successfully influenced businesses in the past. Of course, they successfully influenced. Yes, demak bu qismda javoblarni ko'rsataman. Xo'p, o'zingiz ko'rganingizdek, mana in the past degan javoblar bor. Mana in the past, businesses have changed when public came to accept and require different behavior. Demak bu qismda in the past o'tmishda bizneslar xalq boshqacha behavior, ya'ni boshqacha o'zini tutishni so'raganda va talab qilganda o'zlarini o'zgartirganliklarini ko'rishingiz mumkin. Shuning uchun ham successfully influence, demak muvaffaqiyat bilan o'zgartirganligini ko'rishingiz mumkin. Demak bu qismda yes, not given, yes berdik. Oxirgisi not no bo'lishi kerak. Taxmin qilib no yozib qo'yman, keyin javobni topishga harakat qilaman, chunki logika jihatdan no bir marta ishlatilishi kerak hamida. In the future, businesses will show more concern for the environment. Oh, not given probably. I predict in the future, hope, just as in the past, changes in public attitudes will be essential for the change in environment. Oh, not given. No ishlatilmadi bugun. Nimagadir. Yoki bir marta adashgan bo'lishi mumkin, chunki umuman ishlatilmadi. Mayli, adashgan bo'lsam adashdim, lekin topib olasizlar, bilmadim. 2 ta not given, 3 ta yes ishlatdim, balki adashgandirman. Shu bilan bugungi darsimiz o'z nihoyasiga yetadi. Hammaga tushunarli deb o'yladim, chunki oxirgisining sababi bizneslar environment haqida xavotir oladi degan gap yo'qligi sababli buni not given oldim. Shu bilan bugungi darsimiz o'z nihoyasiga yetadi. E'tibor uchun kattakon rahmat. Sizni keyingi darsda kutib qolamiz.